Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Charlie. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my delicious homemade meat sauce pizza. Now this combines the meat sauce from the meat sauce and spaghetti, and we combine that with the pizza. Now all this is just meat sauce added into a pizza crust, and from there we add parmesan cheese and mozzarella cheese, and from there it is baked to perfection. After it is baked, we add a butter, garlic, parmesan mixture onto the crust before serving. This recipe calls for about 8 to 10 servings of pizza. It's simple, filling, flavorful, and absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all you'll need to make your homemade meat sauce pizza. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need 1 pound of ground beef chuck, 1 pound of Italian sausage, and along with that, you will need some bread flour, cornmeal, sugar, rapid rise instant yeast, olive oil, salted butter, 1 to 2 cans of hunched tomato paste, shredded Parmesan cheese, 2 8-ounce packages of mozzarella cheese, and for your seasonings, you'll need 1 yellow onion, bell pepper, garlic, fresh parsley, bay leaves, and for your additional seasoning, you will need some salt, black pepper, Tony Saturated Creole seasoning. Now, if you don't have this, you can use the Zatarain's Creole seasoning or the Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. You will also need some Chef Paul Prud'homme's Portrait Magic, granulated onion, granulated garlic, some dried oregano, dried basil, and some dried thyme. And to bake your pizza, you will need a 16-inch in diameter pizza pan. And there we have it. All right, let's get straight to it. I'm going to chop half of a yellow onion. Alright, next I'm going to rinse off my bell pepper and my fresh parsley off with cold water. Chop half of a green bell pepper. Alright, here I have 1 large clove of garlic. This equals to about 2 medium-sized ones. So if you have a smaller clove of garlic than this, then you'll need two small to medium-sized cloves. Alright, here I have a garlic press. And I'm going to press the garlic. And there we go. Alright, here's our parsley. Now I'm only going to use a small amount of this parsley, so just cut this right about here. From here, we're just going to take the parsley and chop the parsley up until it is minced. Alright, here we have our cheese shredder. I'm going to shred 12 ounces of the mozzarella cheese. I'm going to shred 1 entire 8-ounce package and half of the second 8-ounce package. There we go. Place this into the refrigerator until it's ready to be added onto your pizza. Okay, next in this large bowl, we're just going to combine both of the meats together. So I'm going to add the 1 pound of the ground beef chuck right on in there. And from there, we're going to add 1 pound of the Italian sausage. We're just going to remove it out the casing and add it in there. Now this does look like a lot of meat, but once it cooks down, it'll be reduced down a little bit. All right, so next I'm going to take my hands and I'm just going to combine the meats together. All right, that looks good. All right, let's get started with making our tomato sauce mixture. So in this medium-sized glass bowl, I'm going to add 8 ounces in weight of the tomato paste. So that's 1 full 6-ounce can. And only 2 ounces of the second can. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of water. And from there, I'm going to take my whisk and just carefully stir all the ingredients together. Make sure you stir this really well. And there we go. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's get started with cooking our ground beef and Italian sausage mixture. So in this large saucepan, I let it heat for about 2 minutes. And from there, I'm just going to add the ground beef and Italian sausage mixture right on in there. And now I'm going to give this a quick stir. Now as you're stirring it, make sure you take your spoon and just break down some of the larger chunks as it's sauteing. I'm going to cover this. Let this simmer for about 6 to 8 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 6 to 8 minutes now. And as you can see, our mixture has cooked down a little bit. That's exactly what we're looking for. And from there, our ground beef and Italian sausage mixture is now done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn my fire off. All right, here I have a mesh strainer with a medium-sized bowl underneath it. I'm going to add the sausage and ground beef mixture right on in there. And from there, I'm going to let this cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. As you can see, that's all of the oil underneath there. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's get started making our meat sauce. So in this large saucepan, remember the pan juices, the oil from our ground beef and Italian sausage mixture. We're just going to add 1 tablespoon of that right on in there. And to that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of salted butter. Just spread this around. And I'm going to let that melt. Okay, next I'm going to add 1 cup of the chopped yellow onion and about 2/3 cup of the chopped green bell pepper. Just give this a quick stir. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to let this saute for about 6 to 8 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 6 to 8 minutes now. Let's give this one last final quick stir. Okay, next I'm going to add my pressed garlic. However much of that cloves of garlic that you have, just add that in there. And to that, we're going to add our ground beef and Italian sausage mixture, followed by our tomato sauce mixture. I'm going to just take my spoon and stir all the ingredients together. Alright, that looks good. Alright, now let's add some seasoning. I'm going to sprinkle about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 1/8 of a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of Chef Paul Prudhomme's Poetry Magic, a 1/2 teaspoon of granulated onion, a 1/2 teaspoon of granulated garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/4 heaping teaspoon of dried basil. That means you could fill it up just a little bit past the top if you like. 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme. Our fresh parsley, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that in there. 3 bay leaves. And to cut the acid of the tomatoes, we're going to add about 2 teaspoons of sugar. Okay, I'm going to take my spoon and stir all the ingredients together. I'm going to cover this. Let this simmer for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes now. Let's check on our meat sauce. And that looks good. Our meat sauce is done. Now at this time, you can go ahead and remove the bay leaves out of there. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my fire off. And from there, I'm going to cover this. I'm going to let this cool off until it's warm, or I'm going to just let it cool completely. Alright, let's get started making our pizza crust. So in our stand mixer bowl, I'm going to add 3 1/4 cups of bread flour. You can also use all-purpose flour as well. 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Stir all your ingredients together. Alright, so in our stand mixer bowl, I fitted it with the dough hook attachment. Add 1 1/3 cups of warm water. Temperature of the water should be about 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And to that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of melted salted butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Mix this on a medium-low speed, or according to your stand mixer's instructions on mixing doughs, for about 3 to 4 minutes. Alright, as you can see, that doesn't stick to my hand. That lets me know that the dough is ready. Lightly flour the surface of your table. Add your dough on top of the table. And from there, I'm going to take the flour and I'm just going to incorporate that into the dough. And from there, I'm going to knead the dough for about 2 to 3 minutes. From there, I'm going to form the dough into a ball. I'm going to place a little bit more flour underneath the table so that way the dough can have a non-stick surface. And from there, I'm going to let the dough rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, here's our 16-inch in diameter pizza pan, and I'm just going to add about 1 1/2 teaspoons of the olive oil. And from there, I'm just going to take my hand and I'm just going to spread the olive oil around the pizza pan. And from there, I'm just going to lightly sprinkle some cornmeal inside of the pizza pan. That's also going to help with non-stick surface for the pan. And there we go. Alright, here's our dough. We let it rest for about 15 minutes. Now I'm just going to press the dough down. This is going to release the gases caused by the yeast. And while we're doing that, we're just taking our hands and we're just stretching the dough out with our hands like that. And from there, I'm going to take a rolling pin and I'm just going to roll this out into an 18-inch in diameter circle. Dough should be nice and stretchy. So from there, you can just pick it up from off the table. And from there, add it into your pizza pan. And from there, you're just going to spread the dough out into the pizza pan the best way you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now, as we stretch the dough should start to come out of the pizza pan just a little bit. And just that little bit that's sticking out of the pizza pan, we're just going to take some kitchen scissors and we're just going to chop the excess off. Because we really don't need all that dough. We just want to make it nice and even. Now, to form the pizza crust is really simple. You just take your fingers about 1/2 to 1 inch from the edge of the pizza pan. You're just going to take your fingers and you're going to make an indentation going all around the pizza pan. And there we go, the dough has formed. Alright, here I have a large fork here. And I'm just going to take the fork and I'm just going to poke holes into the crust. This is going to prevent the crust from bubbling up during the baking process. You only want to poke holes into the flat part of the crust, not the edge of the crust. Alright, that looks good. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 450 degrees. Okay, next we're going to add our meat sauce mixture. Add that right on top. Make sure you spread it around as you add it on top. And there we go, all done. Okay, next I'm going to sprinkle some shredded parmesan cheese right on top. Just going to sprinkle a little bit. And lastly, the shredded mozzarella cheese. Add as much as you like on top. And lastly, as a final garnish, we're going to lightly sprinkle some fresh parsley right on top. Now it is ready to be baked. Place this into a preheated 450-degree oven on the middle rack. Bake this for 15 minutes. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes now for our pizza. Now let's go ahead and remove this out of the oven. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's get started with our garlic butter mixture. So in this small frying pan, I've added 2 tablespoons of salted butter. And I just let the butter melt in the frying pan. And once the butter melted, I just turned the fire off. And next I'm going to add about 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And about 1/2 teaspoon of just shredded Parmesan cheese. So I'm just add a little bit in there. And from there, I'm just going to take my spatula and just stir all the ingredients together. And once done, we can just add this onto our pizza crust. Alright, here we have our garlic butter mixture that we just made along with our pastry brush. Just going to take some of the mixture and we're going to brush it on top of the crust. You're going to let this cool for about 10 to 15 minutes before serving. Here is the final presentation. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Homemade meat sauce pizza, made by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. I have an official website for all of my recipes, including this one. Go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Can't wait. Now it's time to go eat and take a bite. Now look at that. Get y'all a little close up view. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, the flavor of this is outstanding. The combination with that ground beef and that Italian sausage and the season that we've added, really, really good. And then the cheeses brings out all the flavor. I mean, it is absolutely delicious. And filling too is quite a bit. So, give the recipe a try. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a good one. Peace.